overall the pool of domestic capital is growing very rapidly. Like even private, investments. Now we are seeing, family office starting to allocate some portion of, their portfolio, which is probably a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think a lot of foreign investors also probably realizing the return expectation, the return horizon in India needs to be a lot different than, probably what people believe in last. And maybe a regulatory also, maybe government need to think more deeply about, what are the right policy, how to steer. I mean, the ecosystem is fairly big. I wouldn't say it's mature yet, but there's probably some room for the government to also.
I think, there are good things happening. There's no, keeps me bullish about India, and I have 100% skin in the game.
Right.
Like every single thing that we do as a business is long India. Right. So there's this, reason why we haven't taken some liquidity and, secondary. Even all the upside from the business is going back to entrepreneurs. So it's I'm completely bullish on India, and every time someone asks me about, like a lot of the young kids today come and ask me life advice, and I say, dude, I don't know if I'm qualified, but I usually say I think it's a good idea to be sticking around in India, right? And building businesses. I think over the next 5, 10, 20 years, it seems like, we can have a good...
See, to these days, the hype around India is probably stratospheric. Even despite, last 2 years, generally global, things are a little sober, but the India is kind of standing out. People are talking about everything, next 2, 3, 4 decades, rising superpower and everything. From your vantage point, how do you look at, what makes you feel very bullish about India and what also concerns you?
No, the concern is obvious, which is, we're not growing inclusively. And whatever we're doing through the foundation, is where we, through the social sector, is where we can actually think about the real problems, and not the problem of, oh, I ordered on, I don't know, one of these apps and it didn't come to me in 7 minutes, it came 9. That's not a real problem. The real problem is, like majority of Indians, we need to create enough employment. We need to create, we need to put more money in the hands of Indians, right? And not just in the top 4, 5, 10%, in the hands of almost, all the Indians. And this whole, I still don't get it why just like the women participation in the workforce is so little.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons I read about Indian history so much now over the last 1.5 years is to maybe get a better context of why it has like that. I don't know, why is it that, we're like 23% right now?
Yeah, on the lowest in the world, including neighboring countries, just especially even lower among the educated women.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, as in Tamil Nadu, 50% of all women that work in industries are in Tamil Nadu. It's just one state. And if you add all women who work in this country, 75% come from the 4 South Indian states. So I think it's a more cultural thing as well, and it's impossible, to grow as a country if half the country isn't contributing to the country in some form, right? And like stuff like that, I think about that, and we're like, what should we be doing? Because these conversations have to be more mainstream and something to be done. Now, what is the like on the other side? What am I most excited about? I think it's the same narrative, everyone, right? Demographics, probably the only stable government, anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I think this whole China plus one, I think a lot of opportunities will come to India.
And domestic consumption also, right? Over like 1.4 billion people that are all aspirational, they want good things in life. Of course, income distribution is a big impediment to that, but there's still going to be a lot of organic demand.
So yeah, I think some of these things will get better over time. We need to remain hopeful.
Yeah. And on this, inclusive growth, what can entrepreneurs do? Like every time, I look at an opportunity, ultimately, the reality of, what you also alluded to, most of the income is concentrated among top 10 million household or, top 50 million, 5 crores, Indians, so on. As an entrepreneur, and people are looking for their first win, they need to sell something to somebody.
Right.
And chances are, anything with reasonable margin can be sold to people who have reasonable income.
Right.
Like big catch-22, how do you have a sachet-sized product or services, which are relevant for larger spectrum of society? Seems like a very difficult problem to...
It is. I've thought about it quite hard.
Yeah.
I don't know what is the answer. Like even as Zerodha, right? As in when we think about like who should be saving and investing in the market, we're like, how do I think about a product for someone who's finding it hard to put food on the table, right? You can't go say that like save for 20 years from now, if they're finding it hard to educate the kids, finding it hard to put food on the table, it doesn't work. I mean, how do you tell that person don't borrow money?
Right.
If he needs money to put his kid in school, right? It's it's very easy to say it, but it's a really tough problem to solve. I mean, I think as an entrepreneur, I think like the way I think about it is businesses that over a period of time use, while you want to grow, etc. But if you can also use business to help for some societal problems, not like charity. I'm not talking about just taking some money in, right? I'm saying whatever you're building, if you can also build while helping people grow, in some form, I think
part of it, what some hope, I think is we should also see a lot of entrepreneurship also happen in smaller towns, because people who are there, they have a much better context of what the needs are. It's very difficult to also envision sitting in Bangalore or Gurgaon and try to solve for tier 4 towns in the country.
I think India needs a lot of micro entrepreneurs. Exactly. This is like through the foundation. These are like one of the biggest chases of ours. I think Samir, who has a foundation, talks about. I mean, there's a very, like Gandhiji also spoke about it, but like India is like a cluster of 50,000-60,000 villages.
Right.
I mean, in the sense, each cluster is like a business unit. You want it to be profitable in some way. Today it isn't.
Right. So a lot of local production, local consumption, and generating some surplus.
Absolutely. It'll also solve for your climate issues significantly. It'll also create entrepreneurs in the process. There'll be more wealth distribution.
Right.
I think that's really the way. Like even at Zerodha, for example, we are mostly work from home across the team, as in except for the tech and some of the core people. So 1,000 families, we actively nudge them to go away from Bangalore, right, to smaller towns and cities, saying that you will have a better bang for your buck, and also you will probably contribute to the local economy in some way, right? So today, if there are 1,000 less families in Bangalore, we've played some part, right? So I know these people are going to Belgaum, Mysore. Like a lot of our team folks now have nannies. I mean, there's people. If you're making ₹1 lakh in Belgaum, you can live a king's life.
Of course,
So it's like, I mean, I think businesses, wherever opportunities are available, I think you should make those kind of choices, because you will in turn, in the longer run, help grow your TAM.
Maybe I'll translate that prompt into almost a call for action. If someone can figure out small micro cluster and make it profitable, as you said, then come and pitch to Nithin, and he will consider.
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, we are that's so within climate change. I think one of the what we're supporting through foundation. I find myself being a hypocrite when I talk about climate change directly, right? Because one of the big reasons for this is this whole overconsumption, right? The issues that we are facing as a planet, and I know I can be more in moderation, and so I don't really talk, but the creating entrepreneurs is something I'm super passionate about, and which is what within the foundation, there are 2-3 ways we are attempting. So if there's any entrepreneur who's trying to kind of help a local cluster, we get super excited about that. I personally get very excited about it.
Let's hope we get some ideas coming in, in your inbox or mine.